Hello all, Alison here. Welcome back to Words and Pictures for some more tag time. I've just hand cut myself a few tags out of Tim Holtz backgrounds papers. I'm just putting some holes in the top. I was having a comment conversation with somebody about what is it that makes a tag, because I said that I'd been doing my springtime tag board and that not all of them were tags because some of them were sort of postcard shaped. So what is it that makes a tag? Is it the shape? I think for me, probably it's about it having the hole in the top. So I am just putting some holes in the top. These are not all the same shape or length or size or anything. I've just cut them from some of these pieces of paper, and I just want to make some sort of layered snippets that are going to be nice for layering onto other tags or maybe popping into a journal page. I've got various bits and bobs from various episodes, plus a load of scraps that are just sitting around on the table. So it's going to be partly maybe clearing up. I've even got some springtime eggs from last year. I've got some of the distress watercolour pencil stamping things that we made. I've got some of my tapes, and I think actually that might be where I'm going to start, is with adding a bit of tape. I've got some of these spring backgrounds we made the other day. I don't think I want the yellow ones. I'm not really in a yellow mood, but anything that's got these sorts of blues on, I think I might be up for. Might die cut some little birds from those actually. But let's start with a bit of this handmade tape. I will of course link to any episodes from which any of this comes. So these have been on the watercolor paper that I put them on back then. You can see this is still perfectly sticky. It's just decorator's masking tape that we did a sort of masterboard technique with. As I say, I'll link to that episode so you can go and have a look. And I'm just going to start with a few bits of that onto these tags. If they need a bit of extra adhesion, then what I'm most likely to do is just glue. Add some glue. So let's put a little bit of that there, and this is just about adding a bit of extra initial texture. You can see I'm tearing to get myself nice wobbly lines, because I don't want big straight lines going across these tags. I'm going to try not to think very hard about what I'm doing. Just going to let things happen, let things land where they land, and leave them be. But as you can see, my brain is already sort of playing little games about if it's on one side on this one, it's going to be on the other side on the other one. If it's coming from the sides on here, it's going to come from the top somewhere else. Just want a bit less on that one. Let's transfer it to over here, and you can see it's just about making use of all these things we've been creating and letting them start now to build a new life for themselves somewhere else. I might put that down at the bottom because it has got a straight line on it and it's quite nice, quite like it. Some of these tags may go into little tag books or wherever it might be. It's the making of it that is sort of the point for me. It's playing with colours and textures and the delight of creativity. Doesn't really need to be anything else than that, as far as I'm concerned. Have we got a little bit of tape on all of them? I think we're missing one. Let's go like that. There, and where I do get a straight line, you can see I'm then using one of the other torn bits to just mess up that straight line a little bit, because I don't want to end up with straight lines. Where it's gone over the edge, I might fold it back. Very simple little starting point. It's a great starting point for a journal page if you suffer from blank page syndrome, which is a real thing. Don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking it. That sort of inability to start because there are too many choices is very much a thing. I think I do want some Tim Holtz silhouette birds. It's dangerous to hand cut an egg because an egg is such a simple shape, but it's really not easy to cut a simple curve. One of the few things that I've picked up over the years is move the paper, not the scissors. And I'm trying to keep a sort of firm tension pulling away from the scissor here to just allow the scissor to make the cut as far as possible. And hopefully create myself a vaguely egg-shaped egg. Yeah, good. Pretty relieved that that worked out. The speckled egg extravaganza from last year was not only about stamping eggs, but even if you didn't have the stamps, about ways to do that. I also altered some plastic eggs to create lovely speckled eggs. And I know that Easter is, well, it's only just gone by, but we're still celebrating spring. I don't know if you can hear the birds merrily singing outside, but they're definitely still enjoying themselves out there. So let's celebrate the return of sunlight and flowers and baby birds hatching out of their eggs with these little springtime tags that, as I say, I might insert into journal pages. I might layer onto other tags. And you can see I've got 4 eggs and my brain is automatically, or my fingers are automatically applying them to one of each kind of tag background. 4 different tag backgrounds, but 2 of each tag. And so far, each egg has gone on one of a pair. So now my brain has picked that up. It's going to want, so I've got one on the green one, got one on that one. Needs to go on there. Okay, grand. So that's a sort of starting point for those. Got this lovely sort of mesh hessian ribbon, which has been attracting my eye for a while because it's got lovely texture to it. And I'm thinking I might want a few snippets of that around. Maybe not this large, so I'm not going to cut 8 of them, because my guess is that eventually they might get snipped to pieces, somewhat smaller. Got some lace, might go lace, might not go lace, we'll see. What I am going to do is I'm going to go and die cut a couple of birds using these backgrounds here. I think these flowery ones might wait for another day. They might get made into a little concertina book or accordion book. I think that might be a future episode. So yeah, oh, I've also got these mop-up pieces from various projects. So yeah, I'm going to go and die cut myself some springtime Tim Holtz silhouette birds. There we go, Tim Holtz silhouette birds, always adorable. Always happy to add them to a project. So let's see, I think we could set the tapes aside now. I think I've got enough tapes to play with. I am quite tempted. Oh, I've got all these labels that we created in another session where I stamped lots and lots of the greeny ones. Well, I stamped them over green tinted paper, so I've got lots of coordinating labels that can all be part of this. I'm wondering about some of these flower stems, but I'm actually quite happy with this bird idea at the moment. I'm wondering whether I want to just cut, so these are the papers that I cut the birds out of, and I'm just wondering about adding a little bit of structural detail using the rest of these backgrounds. So just some little strips similar to tape, but this time it's going to be card, so it'll have a bit more presence. Just cutting a couple of those to maybe add into the mix. Yeah, look, so what we can do is just a little bit of extra colour to these detail that is going to coordinate or bring the tags together. And this is the kind of thing that can make it really nice to build a little accordion book with these, and then they are coordinating. Let's have you go there. Little bits, just little bits of leftover papers are really useful for that. And I do think I'm going to chop these smaller and just create, see, there's something about that hessian burlap mesh. it's mesh really, it's not anything that is saying bird's nest to me. That's what's happening with that little bit of rough fabric texture. And I think one of the things is I don't want to do too much gluing. I'd like to keep things sort of nice and loose, so I might do some stapling to get these things in place. A little bit more mesh over here. Yes, enjoying that. And there are going to be some of these labels. Let's see, let's have a look at a bird. Yeah, I think we might be going to keep these quite simple because the papers themselves are already beautiful. So why mess around? Why not just use these amazing products? Decorative papers. You could always use old book pages. You don't have to have the design papers. Old book pages will make a delicious starting point for this kind of thing as well. All right, I am going to do some gluing, and then what we might do with these is use padded tape to just lift them up. So let's just, again, without thinking too hard, I'm going to glue down some of these bits of paper, sometimes going perpendicular to where the tape is, sometimes coordinating in the same direction as where the tape is. And I'm just creating a bit more stuff, a bit more collaging presence. Getting this hessian mesh burlap to lie down is going to be quite the trick, I feel already. I can feel that it's not going to cooperate. So that might be where the stapling comes in. Quite like that. I'm going to trim that bit off the bottom there. What I might do is layer these up over book pages later. So they might go in one of the book page journals. That's going to be quite nice there. As you can see, really not thinking very hard. Just start building something. It's going to be the top layers that we end up paying attention to. So these underneath layers are just giving us something pleasurable for the eye to move around, to draw connection between the tags, create harmony. I do like a bit of harmony, particularly in a world that is somewhat disharmonious at the moment, shall we just say. Good, that seems good to me. Right, little bit of stapling. So where's my tiny attacher? Yeah, I just want to get this so that I know it's attached, so it's not floating around the place. Just getting it into the mix. Yeah, good. Might add a double attacher in some places if I want it to sit down a bit better. Simple as that. Yeah, see, this one's all over the place. Very curly piece, that one. We may glue something down over the top of it shortly, so I won't worry about it right now. The joy of the tiny attachers is they're so small you hardly see them, but if you do catch sight of them, it's just a lovely metal element in as part of the mix. Let's make sure we don't go all vertical. That's my mesh all stapled on. I'm just thinking I might do just a teeny bit of stamping, springtime green stamping, or maybe blue, except my birds are all blue, so maybe I do want green. Yeah, these are my PaperArtsy pressed grasses, and I'm thinking I might just want a little bit kind of on the edges of some of these, so I'm going to go simultaneously, 2 at once, just to get a bit of greenery. And if it's not a perfect stamping, I'm going to be fine with that. There it is. It's just to give me that touch of, yeah, spring green. This is Archival leaf green, beautiful colour. Not sure whether it's still available. It was one of the Wendy Vecchi colours, and it's brilliant. It's definitely a favourite of mine. Use it a lot. Okay, so we've got 2 going in that direction and 2 going in that direction, but we need you there. So I'm just lining these up so I'm not stamping directly over the hessian, Just trying to get it on the opposite edge. And rather than stamping onto the mat, I'm lining up so that I can get the stamping onto 2 tags at once. Why not? Save time. There it is. So that's just giving us a little bit of that spring green feeling. You can see I've got eggs dotted around the place. They may or may not last, the eggs, because I have a feeling when the birds go on, I'm going to prefer the birds. But we'll see. It could all still change. I'll pop you down there, you down there. Let's have a look at some birds. See, they're just adorable. I love them to bits. Always have done. The moment I saw them, I fell in love with them. I just find them so full of character and personality. Let's see. Again, not thinking very hard, just getting these birds in place. He's quite good perching upwards a little bit. Look at that against the green. That's perfect. That's sort of too much the same. Same paper, same paper. So I'm just going to shift that around. And so over here we might want one of these guys looking upwards. That's nice. Not sure about you. Quite like the blue one on there though. That's nice. Quite like you on there. We could pop you up, perched on there. That might be who we want. Who do we want down here? I'm always happy to have birds left over because they'll always get used. And do we want the eggs as well? I'm quite enjoying the eggs still. Quite like that tucked behind the mesh. That's good. Let's see if that works everywhere. Yeah, so the egg is in the nest. That's fun. Yeah, just in a little pockety nest down below. Good. I like that. Sadly, I've got a staple right where I want to put the egg. So maybe we'll put the egg there and you over here. Guarding your egg. Yeah, that's all nice. And what I might do is add in a little bit of white speckle at some point. I am going to edge some of these birds, I think, with a little bit of ink. I've got, what else is just lying around on the desk? Little clocks are lying around on the desk. Must have used them somewhere. Maybe a couple of those. Do I want a couple of these stems or butterflies that we stamped so beautifully at some point? Yes, I think we probably do. Maybe just a couple of these tucked in various places. Mostly the green ones, I think. We'll save the colourful ones for another day. That's 2 of those, maybe 2 of these. That's a nice blue one. I can't have 2 next to each other. Maybe that is too much. Maybe I want just the grassy ones. My favourite grassy ones. It's one of my favourite stamps of all time. Maybe 3's enough. 3 little ones like that. What is also hanging around on the desk, as always, are a couple of little real dried grass stems. I might snip those apart. They somehow got a coat of paint at some point in the distant past. I don't know quite where that came from. But we're now working with a bit of dimension. So let's see if those want to be part of the game as well. That's seeming pretty good to me. This is all very loose, very simple. I said I was going to edge the birds, didn't I? And now I'm thinking maybe I don't want to. I love it. I'm enjoying the clean and simple look of this. Right, let's do the next little bit of layered gluing. So I think I'm going to glue maybe those. Or we could come back in with the, yeah, look. Do we want that tucked behind the mesh again? Or over the top of the mesh? I think this might be over the top of the mesh. But I'm going to come back to the simplest possible method of application, and then you get that sense of dimension. The eggs I'm willing to glue down because you don't want to break the eggs. You need to look after them. Let's pop you in there. that's good. Ooh, just switching over because I'm thinking this paler egg is going to show up better against this slightly darker background. Yeah, whereas you'll be fine against the green. In there. Maybe a little further over. Good. Where am I? More eggs. I need more eggs. I'm missing an egg. Oh, there it is down there. Let's pop you in there. Slide that under. See, that's lovely. I like that a lot. And you just tucked in there. There's something very pleasing about the simplicity of that oval shape, isn't there? And what else are we doing? Yeah, let's tape, staple a couple of these down. So that's also sending another staple through the mesh, which is grand. I've lost a stem. I'm sure I had 3 of those. Where'd it go? If I go back and look, 1, 2. There it is, look. It'd be somewhere. Let's pop you there. What was I saying? Yeah, that's sending another staple through those bits of mesh. So that's just all helping to keep things pinned in place. I love him perched at the top of his tag. I quite like him beetling along the bottom. Let's stick that through there. So this wants a little dot of glue. As always with these stems, just you have to let the stem do what the stem wants to do, really. You have to go along with where the stem is willing to be glued down. Look for the flattest areas and let those take the gluing pressure. Even, yeah, so people are always asking me what happens to these. Really, nothing. If they go in a journal page, they get pressed like pressed flowers. If they stay put, actually I want you going that way. If they stay put on just a tag, they'll be fine. It's all ephemeral, and I think that's one of the things that is delightful to me, is that sense of the ephemeral. This is not art for the ages. This is creating for the sake of creating, which is one of the great joys and privileges. Joys and privileges of having the creative urge and being able to follow it, is that you get to do this. It's not about... Yeah, I'm definitely going to put these on padded tape. So just a little bit of padded tape behind each of these birds. Here it is. That's just going to raise them up, give them a little bit of a way to pop over the top of all this other texture. So again, just looking for where he's going to make contact with actual card, and then I can peel it off and stick him down. Almost more fragile than that dried flower are those delicate little feet of his. But he'll be fine because the rest of him is firmly glued down. Good. I'm going to put some padded tape on the rest of these and be back to finish off. There they are, birds in place. I've positioned a few labels around, just getting that lovely blue-green. It's the Matins, so PaperArtsy Matins, which is a tinted transparent glaze. And I believe this is probably a mixture of mojito and dragonfly. And it creates this perfect kind of little aqua duck egg, gentle turquoise that I just adore. Delicious colour, particularly in springtime. Colour with real positivity to it and delight. Oh look, that clock isn't glued down. Not entirely convinced about the clocks. Still debating. That's why it's not glued down. You can always leave it till the last minute and you might still decide you want it or you don't want it. It's playing. It really is at this point playing with ideas and possibilities. So for instance, this label is sticking up a bit too much at the top for me, so I'm just going to take off that top bit, and that's going to give me a label that is more the sort of size and shape I want for that particular little area. want you square, or maybe maybe we'll go with the rectangle for down there. Switch it in, switch it out. There it is. And those are just sort of glued to whatever they'll glue to wherever I've glued them. It's either a firm gluing or it's a little more gentle. This one's just over the top of that stem. What I'm dying for at the moment is a bit of white spatter. But I think I am going to go with these clocks. I quite like that there are just the two of them. Those are the two that happen to be on the desk. They were clearly rejected from something else. But there's something quite nice about those clock cabochons. I bought these ready done, but there's absolutely nothing stopping you buying empty glass cabochons and sticking them over either some clock faces, printed clock faces, or just over any other kind of, we've done that in a session as well, glued little glass pebbles over backing paper, so that's always a possibility. But yeah, it's definitely spatter time. My whole heart is crying out for a little bit of white spatter, and I have, of course, no, there it is, got it. Thought I'd lost my spatter brush. This is my messy pot of glue that is just ready for me to stick a brush into it. I've got a posh white that I use when I need my white to be perfect, but this one is my messy white, PaperArtsy Snowflake. As always, just a lovely opacity to it. It will always show up, even with a bit of dilution. As you saw, I dipped my brush in the water to get that just a little softer on the mat. Oh, look at these. This is making me very happy. Dipping in the water again just to get a bit more fluidity, so then I can have some softer droplets. These won't be quite so opaque. I do want to hit those clock surfaces because I think that's going to be good. Do want to hit the birds as well as the backgrounds. Do want to hit the flowers. And this, in springtime, no, this is not frost, this is not snow, this is pollen and sunlight, motes of dust dancing in sunlight, particularly on that green paper. It looks brilliant, doesn't it? Just love that. Okay, so I think it's going to be fine twine, could be white twine, could use some white twine, but I think I'm going to go for my usual fine twine, and I think these might be done, but you'll be able already to understand how good these are going to look, for instance, on a book page. In a book page journal, just lay it over that. You could layer them onto white card to create just a card. All of that's going to look good, but for now I'm going to leave them as they are, because I don't know in what direction I might want to go next. I will of course be zooming in for a close-up, so you'll be able to see what twine I went for in the end. But thank you as always for your company. It wouldn't be the same creative journey without you. I will link to the recipes for all of these elements, the episodes where we created all of these bits and bobs, in the description below, along with the usual list of ingredients that I've had in play today, which is not much actually, because it's all been cobbled together from other things. So I hope that'll inspire you to go and have a little bit of spring playtime with your papers and odds and ends, die cutting backgrounds to create other elements. Yeah, and just generally having fun. Happy crafting all.